Hello guys. You are on the channel Alice Reddit Stories. Enjoy watching. Story 1. A more senior colleague, male 40s, is pursuing my younger brother, male 24. I'm uncomfortable but not sure if there's anything I can do. I, male 37, have worked in the same organization for over a decade. It's a sociable workplace and we often go out for drinks at the weekend and similar. I wouldn't say I'm close friends with my colleagues, but we get along very well. I have a colleague in his late 40s, Nick, who is senior to me but not my manager. We generally get along great. Nick separated from his husband around a year ago and has started dating again fairly recently. My little brother, Tim, has been struggling with his sexuality and Nick has been quite helpful to talk to. He did make a couple of off-color jokes to start with. Confused 20-something? Sounds like just my type, and similar, but after that he seemed to take it seriously and said he'd be happy to talk to Tim if that would be helpful. Tim has recently moved from our original hometown to my current area and he doesn't know many people, so I thought it could be helpful. When my colleagues and I go for drinks, it's not unusual for people to invite friends or partners along. I invited Tim, mainly because I have a few colleagues who are close to his age and I thought they might hit it off. I also intended to introduce him to Nick. When Tim arrived, Nick had an enthusiastic reaction, to put it mildly, and he barely paid attention to anyone else all night. Tim seemed taken aback but flattered by the attention. Nick was very openly flirting and complimenting him. He was also buying him a lot of drinks, including shots, which worried me a little because Tim is a lightweight. I quietly reminded Tim to take it easy and he started declining drinks after that, which Nick was respectful of. When it started to get late, he suggested he walk Tim home. Tim declined and said he was going home with me, but he did give Nick his number. I'm quite uncomfortable with the idea of Nick and Tim getting together. I like Nick, but he's so much older. Without going into detail, Tim is quite vulnerable. He's a good-looking boy, but he's very inexperienced, even with platonic friendships, never mind anything else. I don't think casual sex with an older man is something he's ready for. Selfish as it sounds, the fact that I work with Nick so closely also concerns me. If he does anything to upset Tim, even unintentionally, it will be hard for me to get past. I tried to be casual and asked Tim what he thought about Nick and if he'd heard from him since giving him his number. He was embarrassed and his answers were quite cagey, which wasn't out of character, as I said he's inexperienced. My impression is that he had fun flirting and is quite enjoying the attention. It's also perfectly likely that he likes Nick. He's handsome and very charming. I've only seen Nick once since they met. He was very upfront that he's interested in Tim. He gushed about how cute he is. Luckily he didn't say anything sexual because I'm not sure I'd have handled that. I know it sounds like I'm interfering, and I probably am. I'm just so worried that this will end badly. They're both adults and it's not my place to tell them what to do or to tell Nick about Tim's personal information. I just think if Nick knew how vulnerable Tim is, he might be more careful, whereas now he thinks Tim is just like any 24-year-old man. I'm not sure if I should let Nick know, or perhaps I should encourage Tim to be very careful. Either way, I could be overstepping. I don't want to sound homophobic. I'd be just as uncomfortable if Nick was a woman. TLDR, my colleague is interested in my vulnerable, much younger brother. I feel very uncomfortable, but I'm not sure if there's anything I can do that wouldn't be overstepping. Edit. Tim just told me that they made out in the bathroom on the night they met. I'm trying to be neutral when talking to Tim, but I'm angry with Nick. I'm not sure how to play it when I see him on Monday. Tim is asking if I'm annoyed with him, uneasy face. Of course I'm not. Story 2. 9-year relationship breakup. Long story warning, I was in a relationship with this person from 17 to 26 years old. We had tons of ups and downs throughout the whole relationship, like many relationships do, but I seriously thought we were solid as a rock. He knew he counted on me for anything and for everything, and I thought the same with him. We would go through rough patches from time to time, but never anything that I would consider serious. We did college together and grad school. This were both on different states far away from our families, so we basically only had each other for the longest time. We are about to finish grad school, and we had a fight which ultimately led to him breaking up with me. He told me that he has been really struggling with mental health lately, which that had never happened to him before, and that even though he still loved me, he felt that our relationship was adding too much stress to his situation right now. These words are important, remember them. Days or weeks, 1 whole month has passed. The biggest problem with our breakup is that we live together, because of grad school. We share the same room, but no longer the same bed. And we still share food and bills. This has made it very hard for me to wrap my mind around the breakup, and I seriously think I'm in denial and suffering from depression. If this wasn't enough, we go together in school/classes/projects, and we haven't told anyone about the situation, mostly because I do not want to deal with people asking me questions or feeling sorry for me. Throughout this month, he has been saying very contradicting things like, he just wasn't comfortable with the relationship. When he first said it was because of mental health, first few days he said he did regret his decision, but we was sticking by it anyways. He said he only broke up with me because he needed space and he knew this was the only way I would give it to him. And honestly, I'm sad to say he is kind of right. He would say he knew he will regret his decision in the long run. And now he says he is actually in peace right now with the decision he made. Almost every time when we are discussing the situation, he would say stuff like, I can't be with you right now, we should see where time and space leads us. I can't say I will never get back with you because maybe in a couple months I will feel differently. And maybe if you still want we could continue the relationship, maybe when I get over this mental health issue we could see where this goes. To be completely honest with you, I do see he is struggling with mental health, because he is acting/saying stuff that he would never normally do, and so I have been trying to be understanding, be there for him if he needs me, and trying to be patient in hopes that we could recover our relationship, but now I do think it's taking a toll on my self-esteem and mental health. Things don't seem to be getting better at all, and I need advice. TLDR, what should I do? This living situation is horrible and it makes everything so difficult. But we are not really in a position to live separately, and we are almost done with grad school. When we are done with grad school this semester, we would both return to our home states, but we live a couple hours away from each other. So in my mind I really thought that we would make up before we left, again, likely in denial. I do have to say that he was a great person and would never hurt me on purpose. But I do believe that his burnout mental health problem is making much more irritable. Even though he doesn't mean it, the honest truth is that I am hurting, but at the end of the day am holding on to the hope that we will fix things because I don't want this to end. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. There are many interesting stories ahead of you.